Hello everyone, right, early start today. Today is the day we get the new half chassis fitted to Derek. So I'm just on my way to my mate's house, Mark, so we can start stripping the rear end off, and then hopefully today we can cut the old half chassis off. It's a bit of an unknown because Mark's done a quarter chassis before. We've done quite a few quarter chassis, but never done a half chassis, so it's, the one we're fitting is 1400mm long. It incorporates the rear suspension, shocks, airbags and the height sensors, which is pretty much where mine is quite rusty around there. About 5 years ago I had a new height sensor bracket fitted because it rusted through, and we noticed last week when we were going to do another patch that, to be honest, it's a bit crusty around there, so rather than come back next year and fit another chassis after doing a load of patching, I thought bite the bullet, buy a half chassis, fit it this weekend, because the MOT is next Friday, so we're kind of up against it. And today it is absolutely lashing down with rain, so it's not going to be a fun day. So anyway, we're on our way, so hopefully we'll be there in shortly. Right, progress so far. ABS sensor off. Need to undo this, but this is seized, so we're going to cut the bracket, undo it down here. All suspension off. Here you can see the extent of all the rust on there. The patch we welded the other day. Height sensors are off. Exhaust is off. Drop link ready to go. Watts linkage off. Here's Mark. The other side. The hole in there. Look. See how tight this is? That's why I need extendable ones. Good progress, all stripped down now. And probably, these brackets probably won't come off. They're actually bolted on, but I'm not sure they're going to come off. Might need new brake lines. Bit crusty. Bumper off. Had to cut my parking sensors. so I have to redo that, but it came off alright. So we just drop the axle and elbow off with the ace without taking the pipes off. Got new anti-elbow rubbers to go on. Watts link is disconnected. Obviously the tank is out. One of the tank bolts we had to cut. Body mounts, the nuts were corroded, but we managed to get them out from the top. In case you're wondering, so lift up the back seats, and then there's a purpose-built bit of carpet trim. Pull that back, and the body mounts are just there. So it's the same as on the other side. Top tip: if you've got electric seats, push the seats forward before you disconnect the battery, because I couldn't. And this one I only just got enough to get me socket in there. It's off. See a bit of a hole there. Whole chassis out. Literally 2 minutes before monsoon arrived, so we're all very wet now. And now the sun's come out. So anyway, I still haven't finished painting the chassis yet, so the chassis won't go until tomorrow. But this is less than 4 hours work. We've done all this. So it's going to be interesting. Let's go and look at the chassis. Here's the old one. The mud on top. So it's not actually the surface rust. Take all this off. Take all these off the pipes. It's not too bad there. So when you go forward, no, there's forward. In there. Crispy. Don't forget to take these off, the rubber bushes for the rear mounts. Here's me, one of the tank straps. And all these clips you need to take off. That's for the ABS sensors. Crusty in there. Right, transfer the new bushes on tank strap mounts. Had to drill a few holes for clips. Oh. Like these. Right, new chassis in. Placed in. Not fixed in. Not in. And it's just starting to rain. So you've got a big ass commercial jack holding the back up. She look nice. It's a bit dark over this side. Oh, there's one side welded up. Just need some paint on there. It's a production by Kurt Matthews Theater, and our senior members have worked tirelessly to bring this show to life. So you've got to just some primer on the chassis there, let that dry, put some black on it tomorrow.
Derek the crusty pig.
Derek the crusty pig. So we're going to get the tank back in now, on the axle up, and then I call that a day. Can't really see anything, the sides are dark. Well, day 3 and pretty much back together now. It's all just got to do that airbag, just waiting for the suspension to pump up. It's all in. Hello everyone, welcome back. So just a quick update on Derek. As you can see, he is back home now. The video for this is quite short and brief, I suppose. It's not meant to be a how-to, mainly because we had 3 days to do this, put that rear half chassis on the Disco. So it was just kind of a video to show pointers and tips, mainly, which there will be a few. There's a few gotchas, put it that way. So let me just show you what we've done. I've got it jacked up in the air because I'm just getting some more Buzzweld coating on. So this is the near side. So as you can see, that's where the join is. It's just in front of the height sensor there, and you can see I've given it a nice coating. Alright, now mine was pretty much wholly here and in here. I mean, yes, it could have been repaired, but it's very tricky, and it's just going to go again next year. So I kind of bit the bullet, bought a chassis. So I bought my chassis from RCP, which was 750 quid for a 1400mm half chassis. They do come in different lengths. I mean, I've seen them for like 2 meters, and of course you can obviously get the quarter ones, which kind of finish there before the airbag. It's a lot easier to fit a quarter chassis, obviously, because you haven't got to take off the suspension off in the anti-roll bar, etc, etc. So let's have a look underneath. So there's the back. You can see the body mount there. Probably the two hardest jobs. I mean, we were quite lucky with regard to getting bolts out. I think I had to cut 2 bolts. One of the front tank mounting bolts we had to cut out. I had to cut one of the tow bar bolts off of the back over there, because it was just rock hard. I couldn't get it out, even with basically a 6-foot bar. I was swinging and it still wouldn't budge. Although it did come down about 10 mils, so I was lucky it came down enough for me to get the grind on it. So you can see it needs a bit of a clean. So that's the near side. The tank, because the chassis is 3mm thick, so it's a lot thicker than the original one. So obviously a bit thicker, and obviously the paint I've put on it, because I painted this 2 coats of RE and 2 coats of chassis in one. Because of that, the distance of the tank is a bit smaller. You can see here with the heat shield just wouldn't go in, literally. And you have to put the tank up at that kind of angle, so it goes up and then up like that, and it was really tight. I mean really tight. We had a massive jack and a crowbar, and it only just went in, so that's something to be aware of. I've just, let's have a look on the other side. So let's go in. So let's go forward and see the airbag. I've just fitted my extended bump stops. Again, I had to modify them because they didn't quite fit on the original mounting points, and also where the bolt goes is not captive, so I had to put a nut on the bottom, not on the top rather. I had to put a nut on the top. So everything else is alright. Let's go on the other side. So this is right underneath our back with the tank. They're the rear tank mounts. They're alright. They'll have like a sliding captive plate you put in there, so they're alright. That's the offside body mount, bumper mounts, just so you know where they are. That's my big gut cable for my battery, and here is the offside chassis. Fuel filter housing is a nut and bolt, might be rusty up there, so that's one to be aware of. And going forward, that drop link, right, that mounting there seems a little bit on the piss. I managed to get it in, but it's not. It's a few degrees out. Again, my extended bump stops I had to cut to get them in. And going forward, you can see the chassis is nice. Right, there you go, that's the offside. You can just see where it's joined there. We're joined for the air suspension pipe. Probably best to get a couple of them. I think they're 4mm. And they're going back towards the back of the chassis again. So that's all the new chassis in. Even. So what I've been doing is on the inside of the chassis, I've just rubbed it all down yesterday. Given it a couple of coats of RE, and that's had 1 coat of CIO on it so far. I've done that up to the transfer box on both sides, and then kind of run out of paint then, and then eventually I'll work my way forward time for the winter. And the same on this side. Don't know if you can see that or not, but so just a few gotchas. This chassis fitting was pretty good. You will have to drill some holes for the little clip things, like for the brake pipes, all the cables, etc. The height sensor mounts, if you've still got rear SLS, the holes for them weren't big enough, you have to re-drill them. And also the bracket for the ABS and brake pipes, which goes next to the airbag, the holes for them weren't big enough, you have to re-drill them. What else? So you have to be prepared to drill them. I would advise, I'm not going to go through what tools you need because there's just far too many, but spanners, sockets, definitely as a torque wrench gun, that will save you a lot and save you a lot of time, and a big jack, probably at least a 5 or 6 ton long reach commercial jack is what we use, because otherwise if you've got the truck up on axle stands, you know, you'll need something with a high reach to A, support the weight of the chassis, the old one, and B, the new one going in, because it's bloody heavy. Even with 2 people, we basically lifted it up, put it over the axle, and then we grabbed one side and sleeved it. You'll have to splay you'll see this when you get this chassis, they're splayed. We have to do a bit more, and you literally get the chassis, put it over the top of the existing one, trolley jack on the back, jack it up, and then you can position it until the body mounts all line up. Put a couple of bolts in the rear body mounts just loosely, and then you can adjust it, so just to get it all nice and square. Take measurements, you have to take measurements, make sure it's all nice and square. I was going to say, grinder, you'll definitely need a grinder, obviously, to cut the old one out. I had a bit of a strange one on mine. So obviously you have to disconnect the fuel tank, obviously has to come out, which means you disconnect the 4 fuel pipes going into the tank. They are colour coded, so take a photo. There's 4 pipes, as I say, and a connector, which is the pump, obviously live and neutral, and the sender. So when I took my connector off, I noticed there was a bit of diesel in the connector, and I thought, oh, maybe there's a seal gone there. But it's not until afterwards, when I went to put the connector back in where the tank was in, one of the pins, which happened to be the main live pin for the fuel pump, the pin, I could just press it down. It was basically just floating. So there should be like a little bit of plastic that it sits in and stops it moving, but mine was floating. So as soon as you put the connector in, obviously the pin goes down, you get no fuel pump. Without taking the fuel pump out and securing it from underneath, what we did, we just put some hot glue in there just to make it secure, and we managed to put the connector back in and it all worked. But that's something I need to do for the future, because also my fuel gauge are not working. I suspect where we've had the tank moving around, I suspect one of the solder connections has come off, so I need to take it out anyway and have a look at it and repair that properly. But that's a bit of an unusual trait. Apart from that, the only other thing I had problems with was my offside height sensor. Obviously they're held in with 2 bolts, and the height sensor is alley, the bolts are steel, they corrode. One of my fixings has obviously corroded in the past, and I've tie wrapped it in place and it's been fine. However, when we've come to take it out and put it back in, it upset the height. So we set all the height up with the nanocom, went round the block all fine, parked it up, went another cup of tea, came out and it was lopsided again. And the height sensor just basically moved only a little bit, but enough to throw the angle out on the height sensor and cause the near side to drop. So I've ordered a new height sensor, hopefully that'll be here tomorrow. So I haven't put the truck back together. The MOT is Friday, today's Wednesday. So I'll fit that tomorrow, Thursday, and recalibrate the suspension, and it will be good. There's nothing to watch. Before you do any chassis swap, I suggest you crawl underneath, get a power wash or a jet wash, clean it all. And I did mine so we didn't have dust and dirt, especially if you do green laning, because it will just get in your eyes and in your hair and everything. And also get a wire brush on all the bolts and all the nuts, and do that a couple of times, at least 2 or 3 times, and get plenty of WD-40. Other oils are available, or some sort of penetrating oil on them, because they will come off a lot easier. So all ours came off apart from 2, so we were really lucky. Do buy new rear drop links, because they're known for not coming off, and you probably have to cut them off. Mine are all new anyway. Same with the watch linkage, sometimes that can be a bit of a bugger to get off. Again, mine's all new. Height sensors, I would get a couple of them, because they will probably snap, or the fixings will break. And then you've got kind of all new rear suspension. Unless you've got springs, then of course it's nice and easy. You just have to get the horrible springs off. Shocks came off easy. The tank is probably the hardest part, and the anti-roll bar. Mine's got ACE as well, so we managed to do it without removing the ACE connections, which saved a lot of hassle with bleeding and everything. So we just undid the 2 anti-roll bar. There's just 2 bolts at the top. Undid them very carefully. Undo, do up, undo, do up, undo, do up. We didn't want them to break. We got them out fine. And then you can position the ACE and the anti-roll bar. You can move it around with the pipe still connected out of the way. Give you enough room to do all the welding. And it goes back. Pretty simple. You will have to disconnect all the brakes, obviously. The connection between the hard brake pipes and the soft brake pipes, the rubber, was just basically rusted on mine. So what we did, we just removed the bracket. There's a bolted bracket by the airbag. It's just a nut undoes, and then you can swing it out of the way. And I just undid the brake out the caliper, which is obviously a 14mm, nice and easy. It means you've got to bleed the brakes, but that's nice and easy, and you get some new brake fluid in it anyway. So that was okay. When you do come to get it back started again, don't forget to do the purge on the fuel pump if you've got a TD5. So turn the ignition on, listen for the fuel pump, leave it for a good minute and a half, and it will stop. Turn it off, leave for 30 seconds, turn it back on again, let it purge again. Okay, then turn it off, and then turn it on and go for a start. Mine started literally straight away. I mean, I have got a new fuel filter on there as well, which I did a couple of weeks ago. So make sure your battery's charged if you have to do some sort of purging on that. Obviously, you have to disconnect all the batteries. I've got 2 batteries on mine, so I disconnect all of them before you start any welding. You don't want to fry the ECU or anything, so make sure the live and the neutral are all disconnected off all the batteries. One of my batteries of the Earth seems to have welded itself to the terminal, so it looks like I've been using a new battery at some point. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I say it's not how to, but it'll give you some insight of what's involved in a half chassis change, what you have to remove, and the pitfalls you might come across when doing it. So we did it in 2.5 days on our backs, outside, on a driveway, in the rain at some place. We had a monsoon, but we had a gazebo up, so we didn't get too wet. It's a very dirty job. 2 people, and we had stopped for lots of cups of tea and bacon sandwiches, but we did it in 2.5 days, and drive in, drive out. Got home alright. Fingers crossed for the MOT on Friday. I'll see you on the next one.